Hey everyone! Welcome to another Let's Playthrough with me, your host Tim. And today, we will begin playing through Quest for Glory 1. So you want to be a hero. We'll be playing through this game again. There'll be a bit of prep which you can skip by going down to the comments section and clicking on the timestamp you'll find down there in case you don't want to hear me ramble on about the game for like 5 minutes about what it is, how we play it, and why I'm playing the game again. So this game was made by Sierra, back when Sierra made games. And this was in the, what I consider the golden age of point and clicks. This was when Police Quest, Space Quest, King's Quest were brand spanking new, back in 1988. And this was the second PC game I ever played. I have loved this series ever since I've been a kid. I have beaten games 1 through 4 numerous times. In fact, this will probably be close to my 40th or so playthrough of this game. And so you shouldn't expect there to be anything that I haven't seen before in it. I am playing this game again because, well, I went to watch my original playlist, figuring I'd watch all of them over the course of the summer and the fall, and they're pretty god-awful. And I've been like, oh, holy crap, my voice was bad, the videos were about anywhere, again, from 10 to 15 minutes in length. I was very unhappy with the whole thing, and I had voice problems, especially because the in-game music and sound will be particularly loud until I can lower it and then test it in the game. Unfortunately, I can do nothing, I believe, to lower the sound, until we get in the game. So when I actually hit introduction, be aware that it's going to be loud until I can get into the game itself. I just won't try to talk over anything until I'm able to adjust the music volume. Right, so this is a point-and-click adventure. So this is similar to, like, Primordia or Gemini Rue or the like. Or, obviously, the Space Quest series or King's Quest series or any other game of that sort. This game, however, was more than just having the right item and using it at the right time. This game involves you building a character as well. You'll have stats, for example, like strength, intelligence, magic, and what have you, and some of them are more important than others, depending upon the character class that you decide to select. The game featured 3 characters, in fact, the mage, the fighter, and the thief. I always play the game with a fighter with a little bit of magic capability, and I'll be doing the same in this playlist. I'm basically... Hey everyone, alright, yes, sorry about the awkward cut here. I played the game for like 40 minutes, but the sound was all messed up again, because I forgot that if I don't move my mouse around, there's no animation happening on the screen here, then unfortunately my video editing tool drops anything I do. You guys don't care about that. I think I was rambling on about how this is like the King's Quest or Space Quest or other point-and-click adventures. However, in this game we'll also have different stats, combat attributes, and when we kill things we can get random loot, depending upon what the creature is, like random amounts of cash. And so this is one of the earliest, I guess, action RPGs I had played from so long ago. Alright, I think we're good to go. I've already, again, checked on my voice because I played the game for 40 minutes thinking everything was fine. When I went to check on the recording, things were not fine. So we're good to go. One more time, everyone, as well, remember, I cannot lower the volume until I get into the proper game. And so, it's going to be loud. Let's go ahead and start a new hero. Or actually, I think we watched the introduction. So let's do that. everyone. All right, we're back. Yeah, I'm not even going to try to talk over that like I did last time, which was really bad because you couldn't hear what I was saying and it also kind of interrupted the music. Right. Welcome to the character creation screen. If you've ever made a character in a lot of modern games, this will look really familiar to you. This was one of the first times I ever encountered something like this, though. Well, is that correct? No, it's not, because I played Pool of Radiance and stuff like that on the PC. No, but that was later. That was after this, right? I didn't have... Yeah, that was after this. This was like the second PC game I ever played. I had this game before I had Pool of Radiance. Right. Well, anyway, let's go ahead and first give ourselves a name. And I always choose the name Galvin to start, so we're going to... Oh, I want to use more points. So we're going to give ourselves that name. And we'll go over what all these are quickly, as quick as I can, which is to say not very quickly, I suppose, because it's Tim's speed. I'm already rambling on too much. And then we'll apply our points. So, we have strength. Obviously, this makes us stronger. I don't know why I even bothered to say that. The higher the strength you have, the more damage you do when you hit enemies. And in addition, this affects your carry weight. Right, this is an old game, so you need to remember, you need to kind of balance how much stuff you're carrying if you don't want to become encumbered. I certainly hope I said that word correctly. If you become encumbered, then, holy crap, you begin to lose stamina, and you move really slow, and it's really bad. So we will need some points in strength, or rather, as the game progresses, we will be increasing our strength just naturally by doing heroic things, like swinging our weapons and stuff like that. And so this will help us out in that regard. Putting points in strength also increases our hit points. A minor amount compared to what Vitality would do, but it's still handy to know it will do that. Our intelligence is the secondary stat that affects our magic points. But if you don't have any magic, and any points in intelligence doesn't really matter. It won't give you any magic points. I don't think intelligence really does a whole lot of anything else, if I'm being honest, other than your magic points. It's an important stat for a mage because of that, but otherwise, it's not terribly important from what I can recall. Agility affects our ability to dodge enemies, as well as, dodging enemy attacks, as well as to hit enemies with throwing weapons or with our melee attacks. It's kind of a secondary stat, I believe, in that regard. I think it also plays a part if you're a thief for... I don't think it's climbing. I think strength has climbing. But in the second game, you can pick up acrobatics, and that becomes really handy with that. It might also play a part in... Crap, Tim, you're failing this. Pick locks. It might play a part in pick locks as well. Vitality increases your stamina and your health points. And as you can see, it increases your health points more than just strength would increase them. This is the easiest stat to level, but in Game 1, it's arguably one of the most important stats to dump points in right at the very beginning of the game, because the first few fights we do are the toughest in the series. Wow, I remember them being the toughest in the series, just because how weak we are. Next, we have luck. Luck affects just about everything. If we had almost hit an enemy, but we missed, or we would have missed, luck may let us actually hit the enemy instead. It plays its role in all sorts of things like that, like casting magic spells on targeting an enemy, throwing a dagger, dodging an attack, and so on. So, luck is always kind of useful. Down here we see we have 50 health, we have 50 points, stat points to place. You place them in allotments of 5, unless you have 0 points in this skill, in which case taking 5 points in it, your initial 5 points cost you 15 points from your reserve, and then it's 5 points on a 1-to-1 basis after that. Here we have our health. This is our hit points. That reaches 0, we die. This is our stamina points. This is like, I guess, fatigue? Actually, no, Dragon's Origin had stamina in it, correct? This is somewhat similar to that, only we don't get any really special moves like we did in Dragon Age Origins. We basically burn stamina points when we do anything that requires any amount of exertion. Oh god, I hope I said that sentence correctly. So, like, if we throw a dagger, or we swing our weapon, or we start running, we begin to lose stamina points, with an amount depending upon how much we're doing that activity. So, if you run out of stamina points, you don't die, but then you begin to consume health points instead of stamina points. So, stamina points will be really important, because we'll want a buffer of stamina in order to do battles. Later in the game, battles will take a long time to complete. some of them in particular. And you'll want the stamina, or you're going to die because you'll be too tired to actually finish the fight. Magic points, well, magic spells in the game cost mana. It's like any mana costing game you can think of. So like Dragon Age, or like World of Warcraft, or stuff like that. Right, but in this game, like I saw, an open spell will cost 2 magic points. So you can cast as many open spells as you like, as long as you have the magic points to pay them. Stamina, health, and magic points all recover over time. Stamina points recover faster than magic. Magic recovers faster than health. If you walk around all day and don't lose any life, I like to say you might recover like 3 health points, probably close to 5 or 6 magic, and maybe about 10 or so stamina points. Resting can also recover these a little more quickly. Over here, we have weapon use. This, I believe, is a secondary stat when it comes to damaging enemies, I think. It also affects your accuracy. Parry is our ability to, accuracy with melee weapons, I think. I don't think it affects your throwing. Parry is our ability to block enemies with either a weapon, such as our sword or a dagger, or a shield, if we have a shield. Dodge is our ability to not be there when an enemy attacks us with something. So an enemy, for example, swings at us with a melee weapon, we might be able to dodge out of the way to avoid getting hit. Stealth is our ability to move silently. It does not make you invisible. The higher the stealth, the more likely you are to not be heard as you wander around all stealth-like. Picks locks? Well, certain locks in the game require a certain level of lock picking, or pick locks, I suppose, in order to unlock the thing. If you don't have the skill, you ain't open it, unless you have an open spell. Or maybe you can break it open if you have a high enough strength. Throwing is your ability to accurately place a weapon or rock, I guess rock is a weapon, or a spear or what have you, into an enemy at distance. Sometimes you will need to throw an item to a certain spot in order to like hit a button or knock something out of the air or what have you. So higher throwing lets you succeed at that. Climbing, well, there's a few things you can climb in the game. There aren't very many if I remember correctly, but obviously we don't have any climbing, or at least not yet, and so we're not going to be climbing anything. There's no walls we'll climb, no trees we can climb. It's just not happening. And last is magic. Magic just affects our mana pool. As you can see, yep, putting points in it makes it go up, obviously. And once you have magic points, your intelligence begins to affect that as well. Okay, so that's our characters, what all the stats do. So I always play a fighter at the start who always starts with magic. And because I am replacing my original playlist with this one, I'll be doing the same thing. So I'm going to dump 2 points in magic to give us 10 magic points at the start. Now that's all I can spare, really, when it comes to taking skills we have 0 points in. We could take, like, stealth and climbing if we really wanted to. But our character is so weak that we'll be lucky to survive any battle for a few days. And I like to at least have a decent chance to survive the first thing we come across. So we're going to put 2 points instead into Vitality, or rather 10 points, to give us 25 hit points. So that's really awesome. 7 more hit points and 5 more stamina to help us out. We'll take a point in Agility. I think this might affect our stamina as well. We'll grab a point in Strength. We're almost out of points. We'll take a point in Dodge. And our last 5 points will go into weapon use, I think. Okay. And I think that's good for our starting character. The only thing I could swap out is instead of more strength, I could take more agility instead. But I think we'll be good with this character. This should give Galvin enough points that he can survive his first fight. Maybe his first 2 fights, but at least his first fight. Some magic, so he's able to learn spells. That's right. If you have no magic, you can't really read any spells either. I don't think spells require minimum intelligence. They just require some magic power. And that's it. Everything else we can improve as we play. And I'll go more, I'll go into the different stats as we can begin to improve them in the game. So let's go ahead and start up. This seems like a quiet little town. On the porch ahead of you are 2 people. The standing one is large, rather ugly, and playing with a yo-yo. The seated person smoking a pipe looks like he might be the sheriff. The man with the pipe greets you. Oh, welcome to our town. You're lucky to have made it down from the mountains before the snow blocked the pass again. It's gotten pretty dangerous outside of town, I understand. Many monsters have been trapped around here with the late snow. Between them and the brigands, we certainly could use a hero around here. I am Sheriff Schultz Meisterson. This is Otto von Goon, my assistant. What do you call yourself? What's your name? I'm Galvin. Good luck in your quest, Galvin. Awesome. So, this is one of these games, yep, where you type what you want to do. There's a few shortcuts, so we can say, like, look at Sheriff. Schultz appears to be an affable old coot, content to smoke his pipe. There's a heartiness behind his eyes, however, that gives you reason to believe that he's no pushover. Now, when I first played the game, this fancy thing called a mouse, I don't remember them. Like, my father got a mouse later. We played this on DOS originally, and we didn't have a Windows 3.1 system way back then. So, right. However, as you can see, there's a mouse now. You can right-click on something, and you'll look at it as if you typed look at instead. And you can move to a spot by clicking on the ground. Normally, you would be using the numpad instead. There's more than a hint of ogre about this strange and bulky character. He seems cheerful, though. Look at Yo-Yo. It goes up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. I don't think I've ever looked at the Yo-Yo before. Let's ask the sheriff about the sheriff. The sheriff replies, "Why, that's me. And we got a point. Tell me about the town. Just walk around and find out for yourself. You said Otto von Goon? Otto's a big help to me," the sheriff tells you. "He's very smart for a goon. His prisoners only suffer a few broken bones when he grabs them. It took a bit of doing to teach him to bring prisoners back alive, but he hardly ever forgets now." Oh, that's good. You mentioned monsters? The monsters come down from the mountains every winter, but they're usually gone by now. The Baron just doesn't have enough men to handle them. Wolfgang is the one to talk to about monsters. He's had a lot of experience with them. You mentioned a Baron? Baron Stefan keeps mostly to himself at his castle north of here. We haven't seen him here in town for years. You mentioned... Oh, what was the name of your friend again? Wolfgang. Tell me about Wolfgang. Where is he? Wolfgang. Yep, that sounds nasty. Wolfgang. Wolfgang down at the guild hall is the one to talk to about monsters. He's had a lot of experience with them. The guild hall? The guild hall is at the southwest corner of town. If you're looking for work, that's a good place to go. Oh, well, thank you, sir. You're welcome. Take care. Bye. Alright, so let's go and visit the guild. We're here to become, well, we are trying to be an adventurer. It's our occupation that we decided for ourselves. So let's go, I guess, to the guild hall. Oh, actually, we should look around at this place first. What the heck? Oh, this is a joke that we clicked on something that they didn't have any description for. You may have already won a fabulous all-expense-paid trip for two to the scenic Shapir, land of the shifting sands. To claim your prize, simply purchase a soon-to-be-released copy of Quest for Glory 2, Trial by Fire, at a software dealer near you. Wow, that's when you had to buy games at stores for the PC. Nowadays, you just download them. Look at old lady. She's deeply asleep in her rocker. It would seem that the strange decorated building is involved in the magic trade. Look at eye. There's no getting around it. A shop with its eye on you makes you nervous. Let's say hello to the old lady. Oh god, that scared the heck out of me. That's right, the magic store occasionally does this to draw your attention to it. What's your name, miss? Oh, she's sleeping. She's snorting. She's sleeping. To my knowledge, you can't actually wake her up. Can we knock on her door? Is there anyone else inside? No one hears you knocking. Okay, well, so much for that. Let's go into the guild hall before we pay a visit to the magic shop. This adventurer's guild hall reminds you of the one in your hometown. The traditional moose head and other stuffed monsters, saurus, troll, griffin, dragon, cheetar, and the terrible Antwerp, adorn the walls. You see the registration book on the desk and the bulletin board full of job listings. The man seated by the fire must be the guildmaster. He is snoring. Yeah, everyone's sleeping on the job these days. Oh, speaking of days, let's cover a few more things as well. So, we totally have a menu drop down here. And the first thing we're going to do is save the game. Yeah, we'll save over part 1, because that part didn't come out so well. And then we'll cover a few things really quickly here. Most of this we don't particularly care about. We just care about the sound volume, which we're going to lower to 6, which hopefully means it won't be too loud. We have a bunch of hotkeys here. We can automatically fight something. We can try to escape battle. This is what you would press while you're in the battle screen. Oh, nice. We can pause the game. Oh, what's repeat? I don't think I've ever seen this. I'll have to look at that when we get a chance. We can also cast a spell. We have our inventory. Let's take a look at this really quick. So, we have 4 gold coins and 10 silver. There are 10 silver in every, 10 silver is the equivalent of 1 gold. So we have 5 gold or 50 silver. We have 5 food rations. Those will carry us for maybe 3 days. 1 broadsword, a suit of leather armor, and a shield. And we have no spells whatsoever. And then we have our character sheet. Yep. So we picked up 2 puzzle points. Puzzle points are just a rough indication as to how close to the end of the game you are, assuming that you're trying to do all the side questing or what have you. We could try to beat the game right now, but oh no, but that would never work. Nope, that would never work. In fact, we need to be stronger to survive to that point. Experience itself, as far as I know, doesn't mean anything. I have no idea what experience actually does for you. I've never known whatsoever what this does, and at some point, it'll go negative. There you have it. Yep. Alright, so let's look around really quick. What's this? The plaque under the moose says, courtesy of Sierra Online Prop Department. Oh, we've seen one of these things. It was chasing us in the introduction. You never saw a purple saurus before you came to Spielburg, but it looks like a really stupid monster. The plaque reads, Saurus slain by Hans Halfwitten. Oh, I guess anyone can kill them. This is certainly a weird one. You've never seen anything quite like it. The plaque reads, Antwerp, slain by 2 guys from Andromeda. Oh, nice. 2 guys from Andromeda is a nod to the Space Quest series. I believe these guys were... I think in that game, the 2 guys from Andromeda are a nod to the developers of that game, if I recall correctly. If there was something interesting and informative at this location on the screen, we would certainly have put up a much more interesting and informative message than this one. Let's look at the desk. On the desk are an old but ornate leather-bound book and a quill pen and an ink bottle. Let's read the book. The last entry was made several years ago. It says, Baronet Bernard von Spielburg killed a troll near the Flying Falls on this 23rd day of October. Turn the page. The other pages record the exploits of the great adventurers of Spielberg's past. The names Wolfgang Adventurer and Baron Stefan von Spielburg appear most often. Well, this is the guild hall book where heroes sign that they're here doing work. Let's go ahead and add our name to it. You sign your name into the adventurer's log book with a flourish. Nice. And how about the quests? What do we got? Reward for the return of lost ring. Inquire at the healers. Wanted. Brigand leader. Description. Unknown appearance. Wears a cloak. Must provide proof of leader's identity. Reward of 60 gold coins and title of Hero of the Realm. Inquire at Spielburg Castle Gates. This poster is rather dusty and faded. The picture is of a small child with braids. Reward of 50 gold coins for the safe return of Elsa von Spielburg. Inquire at Spielburg Castle Gates. Okay, so we'll have to remember these 2 things. 50 gold, too. Wow. That's a lot for this place. Notice. Spell components needed. Cash or trade for potions. Inquire at the healers. Reward of 30 gold coins for the capture or death of the Brigand Warlock. Description. Short, ugly, and wears brightly colored robes. Has habit of laughing continually. Continually? Inquire at Spielburg Castle gates. This poster seems to have been here for a while. It has a picture of a handsome but arrogant young man. Reward of 50 gold coins for information leading to the return of Baronet Bernard von Spielburg. Inquire at Spielburg Castle gates. Okay, so 4 of these require us going to the castle. 2 of these are the healer. 2 are kills. 2 are escorts, basically. Look at rug. It looks pretty normal. Look at fireplace. The fire blazing cheerily in the fireplace helps warm the guildmaster's old bones. Yeah, it's basically early spring here, if I recall correctly. This looks like the old guildmaster. It looks like the old guildmaster doesn't do too much venturing anymore. Still, he looks like he was plenty tough in his day, and he probably has many a tale to tell. Hi. Hi. That's a response from the game itself. What's your name, sir? He's snoring as well. Ah! I was so busy I didn't notice you come in. Welcome, welcome! It is so seldom that we have new adventurers here. Most people think this valley is cursed. What's your name, sir? I am Wolfgang Abenterer, guildmaster of this hall. Tell me about the hall. This is, of course, where an adventurer can find out where there is a need for someone brave and courageous. There are jobs at the bulletin board over there. It is also a good place to talk about adventurers on a cold afternoon. We used to play cards here once a week as well, but there are too few adventurers in Spielburg anymore. They all died at the hands of monsters or brigands, or they just became too old. Aw, well that happens to everyone. Tell me about the monsters. You can see some of the types of monsters that live around here if you look at our walls. Tell me about that moose. That was the most vicious moose I ever ran into. He bit my nose off. And the saurus? Oh, those are nothing. Anyone can kill a saurus, yeah, but we'll struggle to kill our first one. What about that weird creature, the antwerp? Oh, one year this valley was overrun by those odd and terrible monsters. Schultz and I fought long and hard to eliminate them completely. We might have failed even so, had it not been for those 2 peculiar tourists who came to our aid. Tourists? And they certainly were strange. Tell me about Schultz. Schultz and I have been friends for a long time. He too has been a real adventurer. Now he is the sheriff of this town. You mentioned... Actually, I don't know if you mentioned the Baron. Even in death, this monster remains awesome. The plaque reads, Dragon slain by Baron Stefan von Spielburg. The head is like a panther's, but with a strong human-like quality. It is still rather frightening. The plaque reads, Cheetar slain by Wolfgang Abenterer. Tell me about the dragon. One day years ago, a pair of dragons tried to take over our valley. We adventurers rode out to meet them. I can still see Stefan von Spielburg charging forward on his black horse. He slew the one whose head adorns the wall above our fireplace. The other one flew off. People say they can still sometimes see that other dragon flying high overhead, but it has never dared attack us again. Tell me about the Baron. Baron von Spielburg was once a brave protector of our valley. We used to adventure together when we were younger. No brigand or monster would dare show his face here if the Baron had not angered Baba Yaga. Now it is said that he goes nowhere and sees no one. Tell me about Baba Yaga. She is the center of our problems, I think. Baba Yaga is a powerful ogress. Baron von Spielburg tried to force her to leave this valley, but she cursed him. Now the Baron has lost everything but his land, and I don't know how long he'll keep that. What our valley needs is a hero. Tell me about heroes. A real hero is someone who did not start out strong or powerful, but he uses his courage, brains, and skills to become the best that he can. Is that really a hero, though? Is it? That could be like a villain, too. That's just improving yourself. I don't know about this, Wolfgang. I don't know about this. Tell me about the curse. Ja, The Baron losing his son and daughter, and all the monsters, Baba Yaga, and now the brigands. It has been one thing after another. Tell me about the Cheetar, at least. We'll come back and talk to him later on as well, just to get more information. Watch out for Cheetars. I bear the scar of my last fight with one to this day. It looks like it must have been a particularly nasty troll. You wouldn't want to meet him in a dark forest. The plaque reads, Troll slain by Wolfgang Abenterer. The crossbreed of eagle and lion could have torn a man apart when it was alive. The plaque reads, Griffin slain by Wolfgang Abenterer. Tell me about that griffin. I remember the day I killed one. It was the biggest one I had ever seen. It put up a tough fight, but I was tougher. You can see the result on the wall. And the troll? It's been a while since Schultz and I killed the one on the wall. It is fortunate that few trolls remain. They're deadly. He doesn't really tell us too much about how to fight any of these creatures. He just gives a brief synopsis of what he remembers about them. So not all the creatures on the wall will we encounter in the game. I don't want to say which ones we will or won't, but I will, well, I do, but I'll only mention one that I know that we won't encounter. We will not encounter a griffin. Not in this game, at least. Or at least I never have encountered one here. They must be all away with the from the cold snows. Oh, right. Goodbye, sir. Now, this was the game, by the way, that introduced me to walking everywhere. Because if we start to run, we will begin losing stamina. Oh, stamina points. Nice. We gained 2 intelligence for asking questions. Awesome. Didn't improve our magic points any, though. Speaking of magic points, I guess we'll stop by the magic shop. And then we'll call the session then, after we're done. Let's do it. Hello. How are you? I'm gonna wait a little bit till the music goes, and then I'll start talking. I think it's safe to look around now. Look around. Tall shelves with books and odds and ends suited to magic line the walls. In front of you is a counter with a pentagram embossed on the front. The ceiling and the far wall are mysterious indeed. There is a strange symbol on the floor. Yes! You found a cleverly hidden representation of the starship you-know-what. Look at sky. Look at roof. No, not... look at roof. Look at ceiling. The ceiling is shrouded with clouds of smoke. Look at far wall. The walls are covered with shelves full of interesting and very unusual objects. The back wall behind the counter seems to be not a wall at all, but perhaps an extension of some unearthly place. Darned if I know. It looks like a demon or an imp. A hooded robe for when it rains in here. With the clouds up there, maybe it would? This looks like a toaster. Is this a toaster? A toaster oven. Very rarely used. Electricity not invented yet. Oh, that would make sense then. Why is it in a magic shop? Jeff's Gymcracks. That sounds disgusting. Books dealing with sorcery, necromancy, and other occult subjects. Crystal balls, useful only to those initiated into the ways of witches. Ends and odds. A replacement part for a magical facelift. It looks kind of like a voodoo doll. I see spikes sticking out of it, or I think I do. Paraphernalia and apparatus. What's your name, sir? Look at creature. This living creature must be some sort of familiar. There was an uncanny look in its eyes, and you don't want to look at it too closely. It definitely has magic. I am Zara, and my companion is Damiano. The items in this shop are designed for those skilled in the use of magic. We have very little for ones such as you who have not been initiated, but what we have could prove useful. What are you, Zara, if you don't mind my asking? I am both human and fairy folk. I draw my power from both. Oh, tell me about the fairies. We are a people of power and magic, and live in the forests far beyond the mountains to the west. Tell me about power, since you've mentioned it a few times. Power is the essence of magic, that which the wizard shapes and is shaped by. The power potion restores your magical energy and costs 75 silver. I don't really need the magic power potion, but thank you. You know much about magic, then? There is much magic in this world for those who know how to use it. There is magic in this little town, and a good deal of magic in this valley. What I sell here are merely tools to help those who have power. You may purchase restorative potions and scrolls from which you may learn spells, if you have the potential. What scrolls do you possess? We have several magical spells on study scrolls. You may purchase Flame Dart for 60 silver, Fetch for 40, or the Open Spell for 30. The scrolls we sell are magical. You have but to read the spell, and you will learn it. I also know that you can find a wonderful spell if you learn the secret of Irana's Peace. What is Irana's Peace? Irana was a powerful spellcaster who lived long ago. She brought peace to this valley. Even now, her spell protects this town from violence or foul magic. Her final resting place is due north of town, and is a place of both safety and healing. It is known as Irana's Peace. Huh. What does the Open Spell do? It is a spell that allows you, at first, to unfasten simple locks and knots. As you gain in skill, then you may open doors with it. This spell scroll will cost you 30 silver. Let's take it. It's over half our cash. But it will allow us to begin learning how to, well, I'll get to that soon. Let's buy it. May this aid you on your quest. As you read the spell scroll, the spell is ingrained in your mind. You can then drop the scroll. You don't need it anymore. What is your friend? Daimino is my familiar and my companion. We share our lives and our magic. Tell me about the town. There is an aura protecting this town from danger. Within most of the town's walls, there can be no act of violence or cruel magic. Even so, it is prudent to avoid dark places. Well, thank you, Zara. I'm sure I'll see you later. I guess the pentagram in front of the counter lets her know when people are present. We'll come back here to purchase other things, and we'll look at the other shelves then. Okay, everyone, I'm actually going to stop here to check. Oh, that's actually not stopped here quite yet. Let's cover a handful more things really quick. So, we now have the Open Spell. It costs us 2 magic points to cast it once, and our skill in it is 5. This is the lowest, besides, like, 1 it could possibly be. Oh, maximum stats. I didn't even tell you guys. The maximum a stat can reach in this game is 100. The lowest, obviously, is 0. Once it reaches 100, it will not go up anymore, and there are, I believe, diminishing returns in your attempt to reach that lofty 100 skill level. I will consider myself ready to beat the game when my stats have reached about 70 or 75 or so, for the main ones I'm interested in leveling. Strength, vitality, weapon use, probably dodge or parry, and magic. Spells also have diminishing returns, and it will be harder to level the higher up you level it. I will be content with skills that reach about the upper 60s, though if I can get them higher, I will definitely try to do so. Oh, there's one more hotkey, by the way, I should point out. The Control D hotkey, or T. It is midday on day 1. Once it's sunset, we are able to actually sleep. Until sunset, we are not able to do so, however. But we can rest if we wish. Resting recovers our stamina and life. You can only rest up until your stamina points are 50%, at which point the game won't let you rest again. Or you can rest once every few hours, even if you have over half your maximum stamina, and it will pass by time and recover more stamina and or magic points, etc. Everyone, I'm going to stop here, check on the recording, and thank you guys for watching. When we come back, we will probably explore some more of the town. And I will see you guys then. Take care, and thanks again for watching, everyone.